Give me some testing.
Hello? Just make it happen. Just do what I do, baby. Do my voice sound sexy?
Testing, check, mic check.
Oh, you coming strong, huh?
Ooh, as usual. All right,
We're
y'all,
back.
what up?
Oh, you're going to do it?
I just said yes.
Oh, see, I thought you... Yeah, go.
All right, girl. Oh.
What's the deal?
What's the deal?
What's the deal?
What's the deal?
Yo, what's the deal?
What's the deal?
What's the deal?
Hey, what's the deal?
All right, what's good, everybody? Steve Discourse.
What up, y'all? It's Jay Callie.
We're back. This is What's the Deal? Episode 2, Season 2. We're excited. There's a lot to do in this episode, maybe more than we've ever done in an episode.
More.
Like, this is going to set a record for topics covered, I think, on What's the Deal.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So later on in the episode, at the end, we're going to talk to Anthony Tilghman, Executive Director of Make Smart Cool, and overall just a badass when it comes to seeing needs and making them happen and getting things done.
Ask me about WhopperGate, the government shutdown still going on, and Cardi B.
She killed it, yeah. I can't wait to talk about that. So, and then finally, we're going to get to Mayor Bowser and her recent veto of the city council, really, and a lot more than that. So what we want to start off with is we're going to give you a quick rundown because a lot happened this week, and we can't go in a super deep detail about a lot of it. So we just want to touch on a few things right now before we get into some conversations. So, number one, big headlines made in the Mueller investigation because some reporters at BuzzFeed said that they had sources saying Trump told Cohen to lie about dealings with Russia. And this was big, blew everybody's heads off. They were freaking out. And then what happened? A couple days later, Mueller's office, in a rare public statement, came out and said, actually, they're mischaracterizing the information that they say they have, and it's not accurate. So now nobody really knows what to do about this. Some people are calling in the reporter's history into question because he's got a sketchy history. His name is Jason Leopold. I actually read his memoir, News Junkie, which was really great. He's one of the guys that broke the Enron scandal way back in the early 2000s. So a lot of developments. Some other stuff happened with Paul Manafort. The Mueller investigation is going crazy. It's like a soap opera. If you want to follow it, by all means, go and Google all that and really follow the nitty-gritty. But we can't get into all that because what happened with the Justice Department? What are they doing during the shutdown?
The Justice Department is now looking to hire some attorneys, y'all. And you know what? Why is that scary? Because, as we all know, Donald Trump is trying to build over 200 miles of border wall. That's going to require $5.7 billion. Guess what? Property is going to have to be seized in order for that to happen. The people living down there that are already, operating businesses, farms, whatever they're doing, their property is probably going to be seized, and there's going to be some litigation happening to make sure that goes through, and that's really scary.
It's also scary because we're in the middle of a shutdown. Why are you guys hiring? This is a federal agency. Why are you guys hiring more people to do this work now during the shutdown?
There's no
I
money.
thought we were shut down.
Right.
You guys over here while the government's shut down trying to make sneak moves out here pulling land. I don't like the way that looks.
Sneak moves, but they posted the listings on the internet. We all know about it.
It's that right in your face
Type of sneak
Sneaky.
style.
Yeah,
I don't like
look,
it. I'm not into it.
So
it's crazy and it makes no sense.
Yeah, so wow, wild. Last thing, real quick, Jason Van Dyke, Chicago police officer, was convicted recently of the murder of Laquan McDonald in 2014, and he was just sentenced to just under 7 years. It's 81 months, 6 years, 9 months, I think is the total. And a lot of people there are mixed reactions about that. A lot of people think it's really an injustice because for murder he should have gotten, they were asking for 18 to 25 years. Public statements have said that they gave him this in acknowledgement of his service, but also, you still got to give him time because he was found guilty. So finally, that saga is over. It's been looming over Chicago for years, and that's where we're at. So anything else on our radar that we wanted to hit?
Let's take a break. Let's play some music.
Okay. Oh, hold on. You just promised something we might not have. What music? I wasn't ready for that.
We
got theme music.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I was like, you taking requests now?
What y'all want to hear?
Yeah, so we're going to come back and we're going to talk about, we got WhopperGate, we got federal employees coming back to work, we got Americans are broker than ever, we got Mayor Bowser in D.C. issued a controversial veto. So we're going to be back and we're going to get to all those in a little bit more detail. And I'm Steve Discourse.
It's Jay Callie.
What's the deal?
While we're on this break, we want to remind you, do not forget to share the podcast. Share it to all of your social media platforms, your Facebook, your Instagram, Twitter. Don't forget to use the hashtag What's the Deal Pod whenever you share anything. And like and subscribe the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, wherever you listen. Thanks for spreading the love. You know we appreciate you. All right, y'all, what up? It's your girl, Jay Callie.
Steve Discourse.
And we are back from our break. We're going to jump right into the next story. You may have heard of WhopperGate. You may not have heard of the term WhopperGate because it was coined by yours truly, Mr. Steve Discourse.
Oh, thank you.
He's funny. He's funny.
Sometimes.
You guys, our president, Donald the Trump Jr., it's like, no. He was serving.
Our president, wait, what?
Run it back. Delete the footage. It didn't happen. It did happen. Your president, Donald Trump, served cheeseburgers, hamburgers, McNuggets, Domino's Pizza to the Clemson Tigers this past week when they came for their victory meal at the White House. You might wonder, oh, what's the big deal? You know, people love burgers. People love fries. No. I did not come all the way to the White House for a formal meal that happens every year for the winners. Okay, this is the winner's circle to eat cheeseburgers and fries. You grab a burger and fries on your way there.
I didn't lift weights. I didn't read playbooks. I didn't train, practice, hustle, work, beat other grown men's asses to come in here for a Big Mac.
For a Big Mac. I'm wearing a suit, a 3-piece suit. My mama cut my hair.
This is...
You gave me McNuggets, a 4-piece. What?
This is the greasiest scandal in U.S. political history, I think.
This is what's going on. So as we know, the government is still shut down 29 days. The White House kitchen staff has been furloughed like most other people who work for the government. So what Trump is saying is, you know, we didn't have anybody to cook the food. There was nobody to prepare the meal. No, because there's a whole nother kitchen in the White House that's operated by the U.S. military. The military has not been furloughed. They could have catered the meal.
See, that was the step up they were hoping for. One day they were like, oh, one day we'll get to cook.
Exactly.
For a fancy meal like that.
He didn't reach out to the other White House kitchen. Also, Trump has used his Trump Hotel to cater many other events at the White House when they were short-staffed in the kitchen.
Wow.
Why couldn't you get the Trump Hotel to cater this event? You could have got outside catering that wasn't McDonald's. Why would you serve star athletes burgers and fries? They're on very strict diets, if you all don't know. At Clemson, and I went on their website, they have a whole nutritionist to make sure that their athletes are properly fed.
You're eating what? Slap that out of their hands.
Right. They don't eat like that. So I watched the video. When they walked in, they kind of chuckled and laughed. They were like, but it was a nervous chuckle like, I can't believe this serving us burgers right now. What?
Listen, for a guy who loves to flaunt his riches, I can't believe this man came out of his mouth to act generous with these value meals. I like the memes, though. The memes are hilarious.
First of all,
talking about if a guy takes you on a date, ladies, and you go to McDonald's, you can't be mad because that's White House dinner now.
Wait, no. Also, I saw one that said White House be like, go grab a drink out the cooler before you sit down. It was little Huggies.
The little quarter juices?
Yes, a quarter juice. I was like, okay, that's actually what the White House is doing these days. But everybody
it's so
knows
low class.
Donald Trump loves McDonald's. He loves to put like 10 packs of ketchup on one burger. It's like kind of weird, but that's kind of his thing. So
I mean, at least he kept it real.
Not shocking. Sorry, U.S. government.
That was so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, Donald Trump is out here serving burgers to champions. Cardi B is up here serving beatdowns on shutdown topics. Did you see that?
It.
You like that?
I like that.
Every once in a while, I do something really slick. So, did you see this video?
I
You
did
saw
see the video.
Of course. This, if you guys haven't seen it yet, this is how much reverberation. She was almost on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez levels of trending because they were like Democratic officials like tweeting, man, I don't know if I should share this video or not because Cardi B is profane. You know, she uses language. She makes references that quote unquote, you know, proper company, you know, is uncomfortable with. But she went in. She said, listen, and it's funny, but it's also really, really on point. She kept it simple. She's not a political expert. She's not a pundit. She kept it right in her wheelhouse and said, what do you want?
Can we play the clip?
Can we play it?
A little bit over 3 weeks, okay? It's been a little bit over 3 weeks. Trump is now ordering, as in summoning, federal government workers to go back to work without getting paid. Now, I don't want to hear y'all motherfuckers talking about, oh, but Obama shut down the government for 17 days. Yeah, bitch, for health care. So your grandma could check her blood pressure, and you bitches could go check your pussy.
So that was a sample of the video. It's Instagram, so it's only a minute, but it's worth listening to the rest. But she made some good points. The comparison to the long shutdown during Obama was a drastically different issue.
Yeah.
Also an issue supported by the majority of Americans.
Mm-hmm.
The wall is actually not supported by the majority of Americans. I like the point that she brings up that, look, you can't be calling even more people back to work without getting paid. On top of the fact that this border wall is a ridiculous reason to shut down and cause all this harm to so many people, you can't be calling people back now to work for free. They thought they said, all right, well, at least I don't have to go into work for free. As a silver lining, maybe, right? But that's a perfect segue into the next story that you have for us, right, J. Kelly?
It absolutely is. So, as Steve Discourse just said, these people have been furloughed. They've been going without pay. But now that Donald Trump is saying, you're going to go back to work. We actually need you, whether you're essential or considered non-essential. We need our government to work without you getting paid. So, of course, people are now trying to sue the United States government, claiming that, you know, this is a violation of the 13th Amendment. This is a violation of the 5th Amendment. This is a violation of the Fair Labor Standards Act, right? That's what it's called?
Yeah.
It's a violation of so many things. So far, 800,000 people have gone without pay. 400,000 of those people have gone to work without being paid, and that number is about to go up, according to President Trump, who is claiming that the Anti-Deficiency Act says that you can't spend money that hasn't been appropriated yet, and that's what he's using to justify his reasons for having these people return and still not pay them. But the Anti-Deficiency Act doesn't say anything about those people actually actively working. So people are like, nah, bro, that's not what's about to happen.
Yeah, I mean, and we've got some other workers' unions are filing lawsuits on these same grounds, saying you can't have our workers doing this. And now he's trying to add more people in on this. I mean, this shutdown is just a fiasco. I was reading a story the other day, a quick aside, that in order for a business, for a store to receive EBT, electronic benefit, EBT, whatever the T stands for, right? You need to apply for the federal program, whether it's for the software or something. It wasn't quite clear to me from the article, but that renewal deadline happened over the shutout. So there are you have to renew every 5 years. So there are some stores who, even if you as a worker furloughed or as a person who just needed your food benefits, even if you have them to spend, some stores might not even actually be able to accept them.
What?
So like the reverberations and how deep the waves and ripples of this shutdown go, we just keep unearthing a new little jab, a little way that this stabs and cuts people that we didn't realize a week before. Yeah,
and the length of the shutdown has everything to do with why these repercussions are so strong. Like Cardi B just said, this did happen over, the 17-day shutdown when Obama was in office. Lots of these similar things happened. The government did get sued when Obama was president for having workers going back without pay. And you know what? Those workers won that lawsuit, which makes it even more ridiculous that we're attempting to do this again over a much grander shutdown. We already know how this ends. You cannot do that. You just can't.
Right. So what was the point of that lawsuit if they won it? And here we are back again.
Right. I don't
Recreating
even
the wheel.
understand.
So,
Yeah, it's crazy.
So as a follow-up to that and the repercussions, I just wanted to put this shutdown and the financial burdens that people are facing into a wider context, because a lot of the conversation is, oh, well, y'all should have had savings. You should be doing good. If these federal jobs are such good pay, you got to have savings. Why aren't you ready and prepared? And first of all, there's a lot of Americans in this country. For me to pass judgment on any one of them or how their finances and their personal lives go, that's beyond any of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can judge your cousin because you know their life, but we can't pass a whole judgment on an entire class of people, in this case being people who get paid through the government directly or as a contractor. So there's been research since 2014 by a financial news organization called Bankrate. And since 2014, close to 60% of Americans don't have $1,000 in savings for an emergency spending that might come up, car or healthcare or something like that. 60%. Going back to 2014, give or take a percentage point, that figure has held strong. 60%. That means, and let's say, okay, give you the benefit of the doubt as a skeptic and say 50%. That means for every you out there who thinks everybody should be good, there's one person who isn't.
Right.
We don't have the money. And it's not really my interest to sit here and say, well, they need to cut out all those Xbox games or they need to stop going out and partying on the weekend or whatever. We don't know what people are doing with their money. But if it's 50%, that's, 10% we might say, get it together like the 90% of us. But 50%, that is a trend that's too large to overlook. So Americans in general in this economy are not in a very financially secure place. And I had one other from the same organization, Bankrate, 44% of Americans, they published this last week, 44% of Americans responded that they think their economic situation will be the same in 2019 as it was in 2018. 44% said it will be better, but 14% said it'll be worse. So if you take the 14% and the 44 who said it'll stay the same, now again you have a majority of Americans who don't have an optimistic outlook on their own finances.
Right.
So this is a pervasive problem across our economy, across all Americans. And if you doubt the suffering and how legitimate it is from these furloughed workers right now, this is an American phenomenon.
And
it can't be ignored.
Yeah, the thing that makes it even crazier is the fact that we still don't have much hope for this coming to an end anytime soon. And I know that sounds horrible, but last week we were like, yeah, next week we're going to come back and say the shutdown is over. But here we are talking about the situation getting even worse. So something's got to give.
Right.
I'm a little anxious.
And so speaking of something that might have to give right before we move on from this, we're recording this Saturday morning. Trump is scheduled to speak on 3 p.m., I think, on Saturday afternoon. So by the time you hear this, he may have already spoken. Now, I'm not even going to get into what people expect him to say or not, because we know Trump is wildly unpredictable, and he didn't do on his last address what people thought he might do. So who knows what he's going to say about that. You guys, when you hear it, if you've already heard it and you tune in, leave us a comment on Instagram or on the podcast, wherever you're listening to it. Let us know what he said. Let us know what you think about what he said, because is he gonna open up the door to make some concessions on his side? Is he just gonna double down? Even his closest advisors can't predict this.
Nobody.
So it's gonna be a national address. So be on the lookout for that, or like I said, if you've already seen it by now, let us know what you think. So last story before we take a break and come back with Anthony Tilghman, a little bit of local politics. We've been talking about D.C. the whole show pretty much, but this is actually the District of Columbia, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, the newly re-elected two-term female mayor, first time a woman has ever been elected to 2 terms in D.C. as a mayor, she vetoed in kind of a is it controversial? Depends on who you ask if it's controversial. She vetoed a fare evasion bill that the city council passed 10-2 last year that would decriminalize fare evasion. So basically, the situation was people were not paying fares for buses and train rides, and that is punishable with possibly up to a $300 fine and possibly jail time and arrests. And a lot of deliberation. I don't know why was that funny?
I just had a memory. I'm gonna tell it later.
Okay, okay. Because that sounded super petty. You were laughing right as I was saying people were gonna get thrown in jail for $2. She's gonna redeem herself. Yeah. See. So the idea is there was a lot of debate, a lot of public feedback about the fact many people in D.C. don't think a $2-3 fare, you skipping out on that, should be worth. It's not proportional to the crime to be possibly thrown in jail for up to 10 days and $300 fine. Fine is fine. A lot of people said it's okay. It's one thing to levy fines, but it shouldn't be a criminalized act.
Right.
10-2, the city council passed it. The mayor vetoed it, and it's got a lot of people upset. So I was just wondering what listeners think, and I want to get your feedback. What's your view on this? Because there's a lot of debate as to, okay, look, you need to pay for these rides. You didn't. That's a crime. You got to pay the time. And other people saying it's a little out of balance. So, like, what do you say on this?
Yeah, I've been a little torn on this. I've been thinking about it over the past few days. I don't fully know. Like, I don't think that people should be going to jail for not paying $2 bus fare. There are a million reasons why people don't or can't pay their bus fare. And, and honestly, I haven't really seen it taken super seriously. I've never seen a bus driver get up and, like, try to get anyone thrown in jail. They might just be like, yo, get off the bus. But it's actually insane to think that it's even possible or punishable by law in that way. I don't think that we should take away the fine for people. I've also seen people just be rude and aggressive and just be like, man, F this, F that, da-da-da, getting up on the bus, no money. So, you don't want people to just wild out or to be like, all right, the bus is free now. The train is free now. I don't care. Right. So there is a fine line that we need to be walking on. I think Mayor Bowser needs to really consider that line because, the court of public opinion is not really vibing with her right now. So she should tread light anyway. But, yeah, there should be some consequence to not paying any of your fares so that people don't just take it as free, but it doesn't have to be that extreme.
Yeah, and my philosophy on this, which a lot of vocal advocates in D.C. Also echoed or informed me on, is, look, especially in the way, in the last story we were just saying, where most Americans don't even hardly have any savings. We know a lot of these little crimes are largely just a product of not having money.
Yeah.
Right? Not having the money. Not to say you don't have that $2 in your pocket, but there's some stress in your life economically, and that seems like the risk to take to not pay that. So, like, given the fact that we're all like one paycheck away possibly from being evicted or financial ruin, and I mean all of us, like a lot.
Literally,
like,
yeah.
Don't downplay that. A lot of us are in a precarious situation economically. So that right there, knowing that these are economic-based crimes, sort of, or infractions, or lapses in judgment, however you want to call it, right? I think that in and of itself is enough to say that we can't be throwing people in jail. Because, all right, what if they throw you in jail for a day? What if you lose your job off of that? Maybe you were stressed and you had like lunch money or fare money,
right? And
then you got thrown in jail. You can't go to your work because you got fired. Now you're even in a worse place. So I think we have to think about what a lot of folks like Kiana Johnson, who we had on the show last year, we'll call restorative justice. The idea that it's not about a crime and a punishment. It's about finding out what is lacking, what caused that crime, where's the deficit, and trying to do things to restore people, restore their situations. Was it mental and emotional trauma and abuse that led you to make bad decisions? Let's find some counseling and training for you. Are you poor? Are you broke? Okay, let's try and get some job training and some other things to help you get a job so that you don't have to feel like you have to steal bus fare and things like that. And that's, to me, I think where we need to be going in a lot of different ways.
Can I share a personal anecdote real quick? This is why I was laughing for, Steve tried to make it seem like I was being petty. But I never have money on my Smart Trip card. Never. So this is a personal story for me. One of my friends calls me the smooth criminal because I get up on the bus, I tap my card, burn, like you don't have any money. And I just keep walking. I don't even look at the bus driver. I don't say, "Oh, can I get a free ride today?" I just be like, "I don't care. I don't have any money. I'm riding this bus." And I go and I have a seat and I don't think about it. But I do not mess around like that when I'm riding the train, when I'm riding the metro train. So a couple weeks back, I got on the train. I had no money. I usually add value to it when I get to the train station so I don't got to worry about it. I didn't have my bank card. I go in there, I tap my card, ain't no money on it because there ain't never no money on it. And I just slipped through the little gate and kept walking. Like, I don't know what's about to happen. There ain't no station manager here. Ain't nothing I can do. I can't even ask anybody if I can go, and I got to get to work.
Right.
So I'm planning my exit strategy for when I get off the train because, you can't get out. And I knew there would be a station manager there. There's usually cops because I work in Southeast. So I was like, how am I going to get out of here without going to jail? So I get off at the Southeast station, and I go up to the lady. I'm like, yeah, the guy at the other station told me that I could go through for free. And she goes, listen, how you get up in here, that's on you. How you get up out of here, that's on you. And I was like, what? So I just was like, oh. And I slipped through the crack again. And I was just looking back like, I don't know if this is a trap. And then I walked out and I was on the phone with my best friend. She was like, yeah, girl, they decriminalized riding the train without paying. You could just do it whenever you want. And I was like,
look.
oh, cool. But like, it's not true. And she almost got me caught up. And that whole story is what made me laugh earlier because I'm like, I could have been in jail twice, a million times. I never pay. Anyway, so that's my story.
I don't know if you won anybody over to the decriminalization side with that story. So now we just let people in a hurry get by? Wow, see, it's chaos. Okay.
I don't know why she said that to me. And she was a cop, too. And I was just like, if they don't care, I don't care. I'm going to work to teach these children. I don't know.
Listen, you're doing a greater good. We should give you free bus fare. So listen, that's going to wrap up for this segment. Let's take a break. We're going to come back with Anthony Tilghman from Make Smart Cool Again. He's got an amazing story. He's doing a lot of amazing work. So we'll be right back. Oh, you know what? Follow us on Instagram because we forget to do that too often. I'm at Steve Discourse.
It's J Callie.
And hashtag What's the Deal Pod. Anytime our lovely voices pop into your head. It's selfie in the bathroom while you're out Saturday night. What's the Deal Pod? Whatever. Just get us out there. Do it.
Boom.
Thanks. We love you. We'll be right back. What's good, everybody? Steve Discourse.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, J Callie.
We're back. It's What's the Deal? And as promised, we've got Anthony Tilghman in the studio from Make Smart Cool. What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
We're starting off a series of interviews, what we're calling Education Month. So we appreciate you coming in. You are the founder, owner, operator, lead philanthropist of Make Smart Cool. So let's just start with the basics. What is the mission of your organization?
Well, Make Smart Cool is pretty much a movement. I call it like a movement to support education for the youth. In today's society, a lot of people don't really think about education as a priority. Even though it's a human right, we have to do more to maintain our integrity and maintain our motivation to the youth to make sure that they understand that education matters. And education is needed for us to succeed in life. Nelson Mandela said, education is the key. Well, hold on. Ooh, I don't know how to say it. Well, anyway, yeah. So, Nelson Mandela once said that education is the most powerful weapon in the world. And that's one thing we have to really focus on with Make Smart Cool is that we focus on so many aspects of education, mentorship, community service, leadership, and also just kind of motivation, because that's why I named it Make Smart Cool, because it was kind of like a hashtag. That's why you see on our brand, it's a hashtag Make Smart Cool, because that's what we stand for. We stand for making smart cool in real life.
Nice. So what is it that we can expect you to actually do? Like, what type of programs do you get into? What do people come out and do with you all?
So Make Smart Cool, we work all year long. Mm-hmm. Every Monday we do mentor programs at the library. We have a District Heights Library every Monday for our after school program, which is a mentorship called Boys Read. We're here every Monday. We've been there for the past 3 years. And then all year long, we also collect school supplies. So in the past 5 years, we gave away over 10,000 backpacks filled with school supplies.
Whoa.
So we're known for school supplies. That's pretty much how I started Make Smart Cool, by just giving away a scholarship. So we started with a scholarship of $1,500 a year, and then it kind of expanded to the backpacks. So I wanted to do more for the community. So last, I just started giving away backpacks filled with school supplies, and then it just kind of like blew up. So we just kind of became a Fox 5, and then we went on the news and started promoting the backpacks, and that's pretty much how it kind of blew up. And then now everybody started just talking about making smart cool, and that's pretty much what I kind of wanted to expand the mission statement to include mentorship and community service. So now we just focus more on just motivating the youth. I wrote a book about bullying, because bullying is something that I care about a lot. Because I think that a lot of our youth, they don't really understand how bullying affects each other and how it affects all of us. So I wrote a children's book called Bull the Bully, and I released it last year, and it did extremely well. So just I'm trying to just motivate kids that education matters, and we're using Make Smart Cool to motivate that in all aspects of teaching.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I go on the website, you have a couple partnerships and programs going on, right? And I know you've been doing the reading club on Mondays. So talk to us about some of those other specific things.
So we have a reading club. Like I said, on Mondays we have the Boys Read, and on Tuesdays we're in Bladensburg at the community center, Bladensburg Community Center, and we also do mentorships at so on Mondays we actually have a partner program at Oxon Hill Library as well. So we're at Oxon Hill and we're at District Heights Library. So the Spalding branch and also the Oxon Hill branch, that's one of our partner sites. Tremaine Crawford, he's actually the coordinator for the Oxon Hill branch, and I'm the coordinator for the District Heights branch. So we actually do two different branches on the same day. And on Tuesdays we have Bladensburg Community Service, where we do it's called the Road to Literacy program. So it's a program to just teach literacy, and we also partner with other organizations to just bring programs to them. So I created the Road to Literacy. Just because I wanted to promote literacy among the youth. Reading is fundamental. We all should be able to read at any age. Children's minds are set to read at a very young age. They can interpret. They can just learn at a very young age, because they like a sponge. So I think that the earlier you start, the more advanced you will be. And I think that's why our reading program is so successful, because we just kind of motivate and let them start at an early age, that just starting with A's, B's, and C's, and just going up.
Yeah, you said you have the Boys Read program. Is this program, is Make Smart Cool just catered towards young boys, or who exactly is your target population?
Our target population is everyone. Make Smart Cool is like I said, it's like a motivation. I mean, it's like we have to make smart cool in real life. Right now people don't think that education matters, and that being smart is cool. So I started it as an initiative to just promote education in general. The topic for the month is education, but education is a human right. We all have access. We all need education. So it's not just about us focusing on one demographic. We focus on every aspect of education. I have people that wear Make Smart Cool shirts in Argentina.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I got people that's buying shirts in Africa. So our movement is not just here; it's everywhere. Education matters, and education is acknowledged in every country, every state, everywhere in this world. We need to focus on this, making smart cool in real life.
Yeah, so it sounds like you have a really big global impact. Was that your original vision? When you started Make Smart Cool, were you like, this is going to be a worldwide phenomenon?
Nah, I really I was just 15 years ago, I was actually homeless, in DC. So I kind of had this this homeless motivation where I was just sleeping on the streets. Shout out to the Covenant House, shout out to Thrive DC. I was just just hanging out, and then I kind of went through a lot in school, and I couldn't really get the education that I really wanted to. So I kind of felt that I didn't want the youth to go through the same situations that I had. Mm-hmm. So I kind of wanted that to just be a part of that solution. And that's why I kind of created Make Smart Cool, because I wanted to just change that aspect of knowledge.
You actually beat us to one of the questions we were going to ask. I'll highlight that you're not a parent of a particular student in one of these schools. You're not necessarily an educator or policy maker related to education in a specific way. So that's what's also really interesting about what you're doing in your mission. So is that story that you just shared with us the main motivation of how you got into this?
Yeah, that was actually it. I mean, that you hit it right on the key. I mean, I just don't want the youth to go through the same thing that I went through, not having a quality education because of their background. We shouldn't allow our past to dictate our future. And that's one thing that, we have now that we didn't have before is we don't have that path to success. Mm-hmm. That path to success works for everyone. I talk to kids every day, especially in our program, because our program is called Boys Read, but we have girls in our program.
Yeah.
And, it's like, people think that it's just for boys. We're like, nah, anybody can come to our program. And we have girls in our program, and we have parents in our program that come and bring their children. So, it's more of a motivation. And they come and say, Anthony, I love what you're doing. I'm like, I love what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're just, we're starting early. When I watch our kids graduate from high school and I see them and they say, I was in your reading program. I'm gonna tell you one quick story. I was at Home Depot, right by my studio in Capitol Heights. I was at my Home Depot, and a security guard walked up to me. He was like, "I know you from somewhere." I was like, "Who?" He's like, "You, man, I know you. Didn't you you was my counselor when I was at Drew Freeman." I was like, "What?
What's Drew Freeman?"
Drew Freeman Middle School. I used to be a counselor,
wow.
a teen counselor at Drew Freeman Middle School, and that's how how I started. I was just counseling kids, helping kids, motivating them. And then he was actually in our program. And he was like, "Man, I remember you, man." And this dude is like 25 now. And he was like, "Man," and it kind of made me honored that he remembered me. He was like, "Man, you was like the coolest counselor. I was in your program, man. I as you can see, I'm doing big things. I got a job now, man." I'm like, bruh, man, this is the impact that we all hope for. This is what we're teaching our kids, that you can be anything you want, and it takes one. Everyone had that one teacher that really just motivated them to be great. I mean, if you didn't have that one teacher,
yeah,
I really feel bad. But if you had that one teacher that just kind of just made an impact in your life, that's that teacher that you always think about.
Yeah, I mean, and it sounds like you've been doing this type of work for a really long time. Like when you sat down to talk about Make Smart Cool, I was like, oh, yeah, this guy's getting into the work. But, you've been doing this for a long time. Yeah, and you touched on something that's really important when you said it's parents in your program. A lot of people don't realize what's happening at home is going to dictate what's happening at school. Parents being allowed to come and do your reading program is, one of the smartest things that I've heard you, not you specifically, but that I've heard a person say about a reading program in a long time. So that's cool. I have one last question. So I have the opportunity to sit down and talk to you after this interview and get the information on how to get involved. But we got some listeners out there that might want to get involved with Make Smart Cool, get their kids in it, maybe purchase a little bit of your stuff. How can we contact you? How can we get involved with Make Smart Cool?
All right, so that's a good question, actually. Thank you for asking that. Well, our website is very simple. It's makesmart.cool, because we're too cool for a .com. So it's so
okay.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's what I tell people. .cool. So we're makesmart.cool, and you can always search us on the website and learn about every program that we're offering, and you can contact us from the website. Everything is pretty much Make Smart Cool. # Make Smart Cool. You can find me, Anthony Tilghman. But, the best part about it is to go to makesmart.cool, which is our portal of education. It's like our way of just, bringing the impact to the world. And, first of all, I want to say shout out to you guys, man, for bringing me on the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate, man, Steve, man, and, Steve was a cool guy, man. I met Steve at it was like kind of funny how I met this dude, man. We was just like hanging out, and then we went to a Caps game. We was at the finals together, man. Yeah, we was at the finals, and that was like my first time, like really like at a finals. And I was like,
we were out in the street for when they won that night, out because there was thousands of people outside the arena, and they had screens. We were in there. Yeah, we had some other friends out there, and it was a wild time. It was fun. Yeah. No, definitely. I wanted to bring you in because I love the work you do. I love your energy and your spirit. And all right, since we're talking about personal anecdotes here, I was on the phone with him several weeks back. He had an opportunity he wanted to run by me. I said, okay, let me think about that. This guy said, you think a lot. And I said, how dare you? Yeah, of course I think a lot. I couldn't believe I heard something like this. And I was talking to another friend. I said, man, this is something strange happened to me. And he said, you know what? There's a lot of different ways to go through life. And from what I know about that guy, he takes everything on. So maybe some of it won't go. Maybe some of it will. But he has faith in himself maybe or other people. And you take a lot of things on and in hopes of the best, I think. I'm now interpreting your mindset. But I was glad my friend put it in perspective because I appreciated that, and it really made a lot of sense of what you do and how you are, and it definitely made me step back because I was like, how dare you say that? What is that? So that was so funny because that confused me and really threw me off. But yeah, that's why we brought you on because you got a lot of energy, you got a great spirit, and you're making a lot of big moves. So thank you for coming. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you, man. I mean, well, you got to stop thinking so much, man. Sometimes you got to just do, like you can't succeed unless you fail. And that's one thing I learned in life is that, not everything going to go your way. And, like, just like with everything that I do is like, being an advocate, being a business owner, being, just a mentor, you got to like let our children fail because they have to learn that they can't always succeed in life. Not everything that you do works.
And that's, oh man, we got to make sure we bring that up because I see how that can tie into some of our later planned conversations, Jay Callie, on education, how we don't let kids fail in school a lot of times. And,
sorry.
Whew, man, I'm sorry. I'm so many light bulbs are going off in my head right now.
Too much thinking again.
And all right, you also, got to throw this in because you're a serial entrepreneur. You also got a studio right now too, right? Just shout that out real quick.
Yeah, Studio 611. That's my new studio. We revamped it. It's in Capitol Heights, Maryland. Studio 611 on Instagram. So it's Studio 6 spelled out and then the number 11. So follow us on Instagram. Come out and visit us, man. I love that place, man. Photography, video, creatives, and a creative space making things happen.
Can we follow Make Smart Cool?
Yes, you can follow Make Smart Cool on Instagram at Make Smart Cool Us. So it's US, Make Smart Cool US. It's everywhere, Make Smart Cool US.
Okay, cool. Anthony Tilghman, Make Smart Cool. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
All right, people, thanks so much for tuning in another week. What's the Deal podcast?
You can follow us on social media
at Steve Discourse.
And you can catch Jay Callie at
It's Jay Callie, ITSJAYCALLI.
We got to send a big shout out to Clifford Cartel for composing our theme music. And wherever you're listening to this, make sure you subscribe.
Family, subscribe.
Write us a review.
Share the podcast. Subscribe to it wherever you listen.
Share it with your friends, family, your loved ones. Heck, give it to your enemies. We don't care. Help us spread the word. We truly appreciate it.